I interrupt this program to bring you a warning. This is future Crazy Postman from the editing room. I just wanted to tell you that the original idea for this video was just a quick fun video using the Scan My Tesla app and chatting because I know everybody's bored and needing some content now because they're locked up in their house. But this video got a little darker than I intended. My ADD self, in the middle, I got backtracked into talking about some past family, a big event that happened to my family. And I really didn't mean to bring this video down like that. So I've decided to leave it in, but I just wanted to warn you, it does get kind of depressing in the middle, and I apologize for that because in these times, these pandemic times, we need just some entertainment to keep us entertained, and I got a little dark in the middle, and I apologize, but we'll continue on in the video now, and just keep in mind that there is kind of a turn to the dark in the middle. Well, I can't really do much else because we're on lockdown, but we are allowed to travel still, just we're not allowed to congregate in groups. So I'm heading over to my mom and dad's house to check on them. They're in their upper 70s and lower 80s. So they're in that age group that you kind of they really can't get out. So I'm gonna go visit them, and of course I'll make sure I sanitize and wash my hands and everything before I make contact with them. But as far as I know, I'm not sick. I mean, they've said some people you can be carrying it and then don't show any symptoms. So, I mean, I guess I could always be sick and not know it, but I haven't been coughing or no fevers, so I think I'm okay to go see them. I'm just going to be careful while I'm over there and wash my hands and maybe not talk real close to mom and dad. I don't know. But it's been pretty boring, so I decided I'd make a video today. I got my partner Duck in the back. Yep, I have a dog named Duck. You heard me right. And I got my Scan My Tesla app running in the bottom, so you can see on the top row we got battery voltage and battery power. That's the current coming out of the battery pack total for the front motors, the rear motors, the AC, everything. And if I step on the brakes, you'll see it go negative, and that's just the regen that's going back into the battery pack. And then we got the steering angle, so you can see what autopilot's doing with the steering angle. There's a place about 25 miles ahead of me that I always seem to get ping-ponging. So we're going to watch that steering angle when we get there and see if it goes back and forth a lot. But the accelerator pedal, I guess, is only when my foot's on it. So in autopilot, it doesn't seem to show a percentage of acceleration. So only if I'm manually driving will that show up. Let me show you. Oh, heck. I'm sorry, Duck. You better stay laying down. You stay laying down, boy. But that's the accelerator pedal. I won't do that anymore. Sorry, Bubba. But most of the power goes to the rear wheel unless it's under acceleration. And there's my live consumption number down there on the far corner. I do have the Aero wheel covers on right now. It seems like I get about 100 watt hours per mile better mileage with the Aero wheel covers on than I do with them off. So no reason not to run with them on, even though I kind of like the look of, you know, the raw wheel instead of the hubcap, but that's fine. I actually bought something, and it was kind of an impulse buy, because I mean, I didn't know anything about it, and I saw a comment on Reddit, and I went and looked at it, and then I bought it. It was on Kickstarter. It's a alternate looking, it's still a hubcap or a wheel cover or whatever you want to call it, but I think it looks maybe better. We'll see what it looks like when it gets here. It's going to be a couple months before they're produced because it is Kickstarter. So anyway, another thing of note, my camera setup is a little different than normal because I lost my favorite camera for first person, like this one right here. I'm using my GoPro right now, but before I had a Samsung 360, and I really liked using it as my main talking to camera because it had good microphones on it, and it had a nice wide field of view because obviously it's a 360 camera, but there's a lot you can do in post with a 360 camera. But I always enjoyed using that one, and what I did was I lost the SD card drawer, the little holder that you put the SD card in and put it in there. I've lost it, and I've looked online, I've looked everywhere. I can't find just a little drawer, SD card drawer to replace that. So unfortunately, due to stupidity on my part, I think that camera is going to be officially dead. But the other camera I'm using to take the place of my GoPro. So normally I would film the driving portion with my GoPro because it's a nice quality camera. The camera I got over there now, and it's pretty poor. I reviewed it, and it was a horrible review. No use watching it, really. It's called a Boy Fun camera, and it's supposed to be 4K, but man, it is horrible. So I do not recommend Boy Fun cameras, even though the price is super cheap. It's not really 4K. I've ordered a couple more cameras. Like I say, I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not here to be monetized. You can obviously see that with my 20 subscribers. Thank you guys. But I'm just here for fun, you know, and if enough people watch my channel to get some money, I mean, that's great. I'm not going to give it back to YouTube. I'm not going to refuse it. I'm going to take that check and cash it, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to have fun. I had to seriously upgrade my computer to be able to edit this video, because I would dump some 4K 60 into it and it would just have a heart attack. So I built a new computer. I mean, I kind of needed that anyway, not just for video editing, but I got a new computer. I've bought a GoPro. I've got that Gear 360. I bought this other Boy Fun camera. I bought a POV camera that you wear it on your head, and the camera is here on the side of your head, and I kind of just got it to screw around with. to see what that would look like. But I don't hold high hopes for that camera either, because it's a kind of a Chinese special. Shoot, I've already been talking for 11 minutes. I'm gonna have to do some major editing. But I'm gonna get on down the road for a little while. Oh, I almost forgot. So I said I'm going to visit my parents, and one of the things I'm going to do, I got some episodes of Star Trek Picard to watch on my phone. I got my dad into that, so we're going to watch it together. We're kind of nerds like that. But I want to see if I can charge my car at my parents' house. There's a couple ways that I could do this. I have an extension cord I could run from my car. The only 240 plugs that I know of that are in their house are the one behind their stove and the one behind their dryer. So we'll just see if I can run my extension cord to one of them and charge up that way. This is going to end up being a long video. I'm sorry, because I just keep on talking. Most of my videos are that way. You have way too much of me talking and then a little bit of content. So sorry about that. But I also came prepared as a backup plan. I got some, what do I got? I got some cable here, got some electrical tape, and I got a box, and I got a plug, and I might do some redneck engineering to see if I can rig up a plug right there in their garage today. If I can, I'm not going to show that on video because I'm not an electrician, and I don't want anybody getting any bad ideas from me on how to southern engineer a setup and then burn your house down, then come looking for the crazy postman mad. But I have a couple ideas on if I can just add that box in their garage somehow. The walls are exposed in their garage because oh boy, this video is going to get long. So I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago now, there was a flood, and my parents lost pretty much their whole house was ruined. They got like 6 feet of water inside their house, and anybody that's ever dealt with a flood before, I mean, it ruins everything. I mean, we had to, and I say we, it was lots of help by different organizations came in because they didn't have flood insurance. They pretty much lost everything, all their vehicles, their house, all the belongings, you know. And they're in their elderly, you know, they're in their advanced age. I don't know what you want to say, but they're old, okay. And they've lost everything from their whole life, you know, that they accumulated, you know, over the years. So, I mean, that was a sad deal. Like, I don't even have any pictures from when I was growing up. They're all gone. So that's why the walls are still exposed in the garage, because it just hasn't been finished. You know, after a disaster, a lot of people will come in and help, you know, right there at the beginning. And as the months go by, you know, that help just starts drying up. And for them, the help dried up before everything was finished. I mean, the inside of their house is mostly back to normal, but I mean, there's some areas inside that's still not completely normal. But all their furniture and beds and furnishings the refrigerator, the everything was lost. So all their appliances and beds and furniture was given to them by a great Christian organization that does things like this. So I mean, it's all basic stuff, but at least they can live somewhat normally now. How does that happen? There was a car rolled in the ditch back there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll save that dash cam clip. Maybe one of my side repeater cameras caught it, but there was a car rolled over and over and was laying upside down over there with people all around him. I mean, I didn't stop because he obviously has plenty of help there. There was 5 or 6 cars already stopped. But wow, I mean, that's kind of random. Have a car just rolled over. I don't know how that happened. The night of the flood, I live 60 miles away from my parents. There was nothing I could do to get there. My sister and brother-in-law live in the same town, and they tried to get to my parents' house to get them out. And they got to their house, and they got everybody in the truck, and while they were trying to get back down the driveway, the water had risen enough to where it pushed the big Chevy truck off the road. They were still in the driveway. They just barely got backed up and turned, and it pushed the truck off the road, and it lost traction. He got stuck there, and then it flooded out because the water was going over the hood at that time. So they got my mom and dad back out of the truck, and mind you, the flood was up to their chest deep, and you know it's moving because it's flood waters. So they had to get back from the truck, and what they did was, my dad had a little white truck in the driveway, and the flood waters had pushed it up against the house. So they climbed on top of that truck and then started lifting people up onto the roof. You know, people were going down the street and flooding out in their cars trying to leave. So they saw my parents gathering up on the roof of their house, so they swam or ran. I don't know how they got from the street over there, but the roof of my parents' house was amassing people. I think there got up to about 15 people on the roof of their house, and that's where they stayed until the floodwaters receded. It got up to the windows on my parents' house, so that's how deep the water got. And when it started going down, the county came in with a giant front end loader and lifted it up to the roof, and people got in the bucket of the front end loader off the roof, and then they drove out of the neighborhood like that. I got stuck on the highway. So the bridge where my parents, the creek that was flooding into my parents' house, I have to cross it to get into the town, and then you go through town, and then you have to turn back the other way and cross the creek again to get to my parents' house. And when I got to the bridge on the highway this time, the water was so far over the bridge that you couldn't even see the sides of the bridge. You know how there's cement walls that go up 4 feet on the side of the bridge, like right here. The water was going over the top of those, so there was no way. I was stuck on the highway. And then after an hour waiting there on the highway, I finally got into town, and I got stuck again because I couldn't go over the bridge a second time, the other bridge, to get to my parents' house. So, wow, I didn't know I was going to get into this story. If anybody's still watching, I am kind of sorry. I didn't mean this episode to go down in the dumps like that. I mean, I was just, the original idea was just going out on a drive and using the Scan MyTesla app and, you know, trying to see if I could charge at my mom and dad's house. I didn't mean it to take that southern turn there. But anyway, that's in the past. Mom and dad are still with me. They're doing pretty good. And I've just about talked for 20 minutes. So I'm going to quit talking for a while. We're actually pretty near that place where I get the ping ponging. So we'll stand by for a little bit and get on down the road for a while. Look at that ping ponging back and forth. So this is where the ping ponging starts. We'll watch the Scan MyTesla app during the next few miles here just to see how bad it goes back and forth. Yeah, it's going back and forth a little bit here. Man, that was a big one. Wow. Yeah, it's definitely ping ponging here. I don't know what it is about this place. If you're car sick, this is where you get car sick. But here is the creek that you have to cross. This is the first time you cross my parents' creek. Right here's where I got stuck. The water was going over all the cement here. It was almost to the bottom of that sign that says West Cache Creek. All this was underwater back in here. The water was over the road all the way up until probably this turn here. It showed that trash can on the side of the road on the screen. But this is the creek, the second time. This is the other bridge. Same creek. We're just crossing it again. Water was going over this bridge as well. And okay, so we did get some charging done at my mom and dad's house, but I didn't quite get to do what I wanted to do, which was I wanted to set up a plug for me to use in the garage, but my dad didn't really like that idea. So what we ended up doing was running an extension cord into the house and using the dryer socket, which was not very user friendly, but I have a 95% charge on my car now, so that's good. I charged it to I took it to 90% during the daytime while I was there, and when I was getting ready to leave, I went ahead and bumped it to 100% because why not? It's free electricity at mom and dad's house, for me anyway. So I only got it to 95%. I didn't stay quite long enough to top it off, but that's okay. We are headed back to the house, and the navigation says I will get home with 78%. So that's 39 miles, and I'll get there with 78%. So we're going to get on the highway, and I will check in with y'all later. You know, this is supposed to just be a fun video. Ended up kind of dragging it down a little bit with my story about my parents, but it turned out being a pretty good day. I found a way to charge at their house, and my mom sent us on some errands because, you know, they're older, so they shouldn't be out and about. Of course, nobody should be, but it's safer for me to go than for them to go. And evidently, there's a rule that I didn't know about. I mean, it's a good rule. It makes sense, but me and my sister went together to shop for my mom, and evidently, they only let one person per vehicle go inside the store. So me and my sister got to the door, and somebody met us there and told us that one of us had to go back and wait in the parking lot, that I couldn't go in the store. So I let my sister go in and do the shopping, and I went and sat in the vehicle for an hour and 10 minutes. My watt hours per mile are pretty low. Uh-oh, got a bogey. Watt hours per mile are kind of low. I do have my aero wheel covers on, and got some cereal for me, so I'm not going to go hungry for the next few days. I'm so tired of this pandemic. I know that's a kind of a duh statement. I mean, nobody wants any of this to go on, but it just, man, it needs to be over. Not very many people out and about, which is good. I mean, this road is normally pretty busy, and there's maybe one or two more cars that I can see, as far as I can see down the road. People are heeding the warning, except for me. Except I'm on my way home right now to lock myself in until Monday morning when I have to go back to work, because I'm essential. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed going on this drive, and I'm glad y'all came along with me, and I'll see you in the next video. There you are. Yeah. You think you got me, but I see you. Wait, that's not the cop. How you doing, Duckers? You doing okay back there? It always does that on that bridge.